All right. All right. I just want to mention something. I've got something is working on the freaking Yahoo thingy. Great. All right. I just wanted to mention that the sounds you hear in the background, and it may even be like right up close. The microphone that I use in this studio, call it that. It's at my workstation, and it's in a very well lived area of my studio, and it's cold outside. It's like 32 or 33 degrees, and it's like frosty, don't stop, and it's cold, and I don't like it, but it's November, middle of November, and it's cold, and nothing I can do about that. It's like, oh, I can't just vote that away, and I can't just protest it away, like march down the street and throw rocks and things at cops and act like little crybaby pussies and whiny babies. But is that a hint? Yeah. Yep. It certainly is. Anyway, the noise is the heater running in the studio here, and in the other part of the studio there's another one. To generate heat. And apparently the fans on these heaters make noise. And the microphone that I'm using picks that up, because it's not like a personal microphone that I could hide inside some sort of face mask or whatever that filters out the noise in the room. And that crunch you just heard was the cat having a bite to eat, which is over there, not far away. And he might even come over and jump up on my chair arm and say purr purr and meow and let me out or pet me or something, because he's very sensitive, and he likes me a lot. He's a good cat. I like him. He likes me. It's phenomenal how much the cat likes me. He's like a puppy dog or something. Don't let him hear you say that. Where'd he go? He's here somewhere. Okay, he's going over there, and he's going to sit someplace else. Which is good, because it's a little early. I just got up, and I'm having my cup of tea and my cigarette. First cigarette of the day. I switched brands because the brand I've been smoking for like nigh on 50 years. Oh, no, it's the telephone, mind you. I gotta stop. Hold on. That call was from the Census Bureau people, I think. Now, it's very weird to me. I thought the census was like once a year, or once every 10 years. They go around, knock, knock, and how many people live here? And other questions that are none of their business, which I declined to answer, by the way, because they say, I ask you about personal questions, and I say, it's none of your business. And by the way, the law says you count the people and how many people there are in the house, in the country. So ask me the question: how many people live here? 2 human beings live here. Okay, we're done. Bye bye. And I'm not rude. I'm not. I don't like threaten to kick their ass or anything like that. I haven't had to, because the people that come, they're doing the job that we're hired. I need a job, and the Census Bureau says, "Hey, we'll hire you and pay you some money, and you just go around and knock on doors, and we hope you're safe and nothing happens to you." And I'm sorry, I wouldn't want that job, even if I was a guy, which I am a guy. Don't misunderstand me. But do I want to be a guy going around knocking on everybody's door like a stranger. Like, that's like soliciting people at their house. And it's kind of like you walk in their yard, or walk in the porch and knock on the door, and the dogs come around like, "What the hell's going on? Ruff, ruff, ruff," and they bite you and eat you up and shit. So it's a dangerous job. And then people at the house are saying like, "Fuck off," and or maybe they were busy, like naked, because they're nudists and they just like live in their house and they're nude. And they come to the door, and let's suppose you're a woman, a lady person, during the census, alone, which is kind of, it's a little iffy there. And so I'm sure you can't have like a cop from the FBI or Secret Service or whatever just following these people around to every house all the time. Wouldn't be economically sound, but then again, when does the government give a shit about being economical? But anyway, they knock, and there's the girl or woman, young lady or whatever, older person maybe. There seems to be a pretty general span of people qualified to be census takers. And you're asking yourself probably this question, I would think: why are they taking a census on this year? Because it's not the year for taking the census. That would have been like, what year? What year would that be? Like 2010? Has it been that long? So anyway, this lady came to my house one day, driving in the driveway, and I happened to be outside at the time, or was I? Maybe I was in the house. At any rate, I don't know. And she comes in and knock, and I'm like, "Hello," and she says, "I'm from the Census Bureau data thingy person, collecting person." I said, "But it's not a year for that." And she said, "Yeah, well, this is extra." And I think, what? What? It wasn't that bad enough. You're just snooping on me like once every 10 years, and you're like actually now doing it whatever you want. She said, "This is just to check up and see if anything's changed since then." So what if it did change? Big deal. Anyway, I was polite and I was nice to the lady. I wasn't rude, and I didn't threaten her, kick her ass or anything. Didn't call her, like an intruder or a terrorist or trespasser. And, I talk. I'm curious. Like, what the hell? What is this? Tell me. Explain to me what this is. And then she explained to me somehow, and I was like, I don't understand that. It's like she wants to ask questions. But I didn't even answer this questions when they asked me on 2010 census, which was official and legal and everything. Yeah, well, legal as far as collecting census, but... Oh, here's a curious note. I'm going to put this in here, just as a side note. In the Bible, it says, Joseph and Mary, Joseph had to go to... They went to their ancient homeland, to, what? Register for the census and to pay taxes. Maybe somebody misinterpreted that from the Latin or Greek or whatever language it was in before it was in English, and probably it's like, oh yeah, they went there and did that. Like, I don't think so. Seriously. And they went, and there was like no room in the end, so they had to like sleep in a barn. What I want to know is, now that's possible. I tell you the truth, I've been to places where the hotels were pretty filled up. The hotels. The word used to be pronounced hotel, not hotel. It's sort of an American version, I think. But I've been to places like popular, like the beach, Virginia Beach, so on. Atlantic City, Miami, places. Not Miami. Disneyland. Places like that. And even around my hometown, Fairmont, for one reason or another. Nothing sinister there. It's just, there was a flood. My house was uninhabitable for some reason, like no electricity, and it was like 100 degrees outside. Or inside, and so we had to stay at the motel overnight or something. So we did. But the point is, I can understand, being everything booked up because there were a lot of people coming for the census, coming back to their hometown. I mean, okay, let me ask you a question. In the first place, and I have some evidence due to my research capacity as a, capable person of doing research and figuring things out and understanding things and analyzing the facts and the details and the evidence, etc. And it just doesn't make sense. And I'm not just saying this because of my own thinking, because I've read this also in other people have written books and said stuff in articles and put it on the internet and stuff that said that wasn't likely to happen because the Romans just didn't do that. Because they said, Rome, was calling a census and stuff. No. And in fact, there's no record of them ever doing that. Ever. They just didn't do that. And since there's no record of them doing that, then the story about Joseph and Mary going to his ancient hometown, because we're not talking about his hometown because that would be wherever they lived. Am I not correct? Is that not Jerusalem? Or someplace like that? I mean, so they're living in a place like Jerusalem or some, I don't know where. I don't remember. You can't keep every bit of information in your head. And not a freaking computer. So anyway, they lived one place, or they were just wandering around homeless. I don't know. So they were they were called by the Roman people that were in charge of the country and all that. To go a long way away, miles and miles away, to register as a part of the census. And they didn't have Roman soldiers or somebody I'm the census guy. I'm coming to and where were you born and where are you living now and how many people living here or whatever. What do you do for a living, Joseph? I'm a carpenter. Okay. What does your wife do? She's like a holy mother of a saintly Jesus kind of person. Oh, really? Yeah, I think that would play over really well. But maybe they didn't know. Of course they know. They went to they were in the manger and the three wise men came. Yeah, everybody knew. Jesus was going to be King of the Jews and shit. The day he was fucking born. Excuse me. So, what about that from the day he was born? I'm just saying the census thing doesn't really ring true. Because, like I said, there's just no history, there's no record. Nobody seems to even know about that. The Bible said it, but, it didn't happen, people. Seriously. So why does the Bible say it when it didn't happen? Well, because the Bible is bullshit, for one thing. Seriously. And okay, you're offended now, you're listening, you're like, oh, he's offending me. I'm sorry. If you're offended by the truth, you're an idiot. And 2 fingers up for you, pal. Because that's just stupid. And oh, I'm offended. Yeah, guess what? I don't give a fuck. I shouldn't be so mean and cruel. I shouldn't be an asshole and treat people treat people bad like that because they can't help it if they're retarded. I'm sorry, politically correct doesn't go here, right? We don't do politically correct here at Art Through Monologues. We go truth, logic, reason, facts, evidence, things like that. We don't go, oh, I'm emotionally hysterical and I'm really paranoid and I'm gonna call you a troll and an asshole and shit. If you say that in my studio, guess what? I'm sorry, I don't want to pretend like I'm like Bill O'Reilly, the fucking asshole, but I don't want anyone to think I'm like him, the bully, the little prick. Well, he's a big prick, actually. Uh, I don't want to give him credit for having a big prick. I mean, I'm just saying he is a big prickhead. Dickhead. Prickhead. Same thing. So, I don't want to be like that and say, get off my studio. I'll beat your shit out of you. Because Bill O'Reilly is, like I said, he's a prick. And I don't like it. And I think someone should beat the crap out of him instead of him threatening to beat the crap out of them. They should just take him up on that and say, go for it, pussy. I'll beat the shit out of you, you fucking asshole motherfucker. And believe it or not, when I first started listening to Bill O'Reilly, I was like, that's cool. And then it didn't take long for him to start acting like a prick. And then I said, what the fuck? Because he was probably originally interviewing some really bastardly politician. And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. Give it to him, Bill. You know, call him out. I mean, he's a politician. He's a crook. You know, like I'm interviewing, I don't remember who it was, first time I started watching Bill O'Reilly, but whoever he's interviewing, he's probably interviewing some prick. And I was thinking, hey, yeah, ask some hard questions, demand some answers from these political frickin' hacks and crap apple motherfuckers. Crooks, crazy, insane, criminally insane motherfuckers. Yeah, I cuss, I say words. It's words. You don't like words? Fuck you. Which is two words that you should take seriously and, you know, shove up your ass. I say the little old lady said, I can't listen to this Dean McClung anymore. That's crude and rude and disgusting. Says dirty words and shit. Alright? You got a problem with words? Yeah, go. Just go. Just fuck off. I don't want to talk to you anyway. Because you're not going to change your mind. Because you're like brain damaged. You know, you're not, I'm brain damaged, I'm offended. Okay? Politically correct, not here. You won't find politically correct here. Because that's fucking bullshit. And we don't do that here. This is, we just don't. Okay? So, alright, so we're going, Joseph and Mary, who he was engaged to, and had already knocked up, apparently. According to the story, she was pregnant, and therefore, who did that? Joseph. Or she was maybe a hoe and got knocked up from one of her Johns. Oh, you're just saying terrible things about Mary, the mother, blessed mother. You know, kiss my ass. You don't. If you believe that nonsense, you're like retarded. Seriously, delusional, retarded. Not very smart. Alright. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Because that's true. Don't apologize for telling the truth, do I? No. Does anybody else? Some people. Should they? No. Because truth is truth. And you don't apologize for it. You actually stand up for truth and say, this is true. I have evidence. You know, like the fact that the Romans didn't do that. They didn't say, hey, go to the village, you know, and be registered to be in the census and, you know, taxed and shit. And if you go to the next village to be taxed and censored, you know, and list, I am a citizen of wherever I am, and this is where I was born. Joseph was born in that place. So, okay, fine. Why would he do that? And why would the government want that to happen? That's just stupid. Yeah, let's let it get a lot of people away from their hometowns, if they're away from their hometowns, and travel like freaking maybe a couple hundred miles on a donkey and walking and stuff. That'd just be ridiculous. Besides, wouldn't you want to know where the people normally live? You know what I'm saying? Like me, just consider your own town and your own place where you were born and stuff and where you live now. I mean, like, suppose you were born in, like, Memphis, Tennessee, and you traveled, moved to, you know, Los Angeles, California to live. And, like, let's go back to Memphis to register for the census and pay taxes. Let's say this is something you do every year. You're going to go back to Memphis, like, what? buy a plane ticket for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars to travel all the way to Memphis with your family? And all the kids and shit, and just to do that, and then pay some taxes on top of it when you get there, and then go all the way back on a plane to Los Angeles to continue living your life, and you're going to do this how often? Every year? What? That's insane. No, it's fucking stupid. And I don't think the Romans, were that stupid. And I don't think the people that lived in that conquered territories, that empire, Roman Empire, I don't think they're that stupid. I just don't think they were that. Yeah, well, they were, actually. Yeah, they were not very bright. Because of reasons, all right? So I'm just saying that as a census thing and a humorous side note to what I was talking about before. No, I'm sorry. And that's something in the Bible. And I'm saying, bullshit! No. Not the way it were. And unbelievable. Because the evidence, that stuff, that evidence, the facts, the evidence, the logical conclusions that one can use to come to, to say, I don't think so. Because, And then we say, oh, gee, I think I'm smarter than I was yesterday because now I know something that I didn't know then. I actually have knowledge that makes me wise. And I need to have some guys come by and give me some frankincense and myrrh. And some Federal Reserve notes. So anyway, and I don't need people coming by my door every freaking couple of... Well, in this case, the people that are doing this in-between census thing is like every month. And this is like the 4th month, and in 8 months, they're going to check back again. And I'm thinking, who are these people, and why are they bothering me? So anyway, this morning, that phone that rang a while ago, you heard it, and I answered it, and maybe I should have left it on broadcast, and you could have, or the podcast, if you want to call it that, I should have left it on the podcast so you could hear what was going on, and what questions they asked, and what answers I gave. I was polite, sir, I was, honest, I was. I was honest, and I tried to be honest. Then she said, what is your job? And I said, I don't have a job. Then you're not working? And I said, yeah, I work every day, like all the time. She said, doesn't make sense. And I said, yeah, it does, because I know what I'm talking about, and you don't. So I'll tell you if you want to know. And she was kind of in a hurry, because she wanted to get it over with so she can move on to the next person, I guess. From all indications, I mean, she had the person that came to my house the first time, she told me, they'll be calling you back every month, And, okay, for a while, and I didn't know it was like forever. But anyway. I suppose I could opt out and just say, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore. Don't be asking me stupid questions. Or even smart questions. But I don't even understand who you are and why you're asking these questions about me. Now, they're not real personal questions, but a lot like, when was the last time you had sex or anything. It was like, and what color is your shit when you take a poop? No, it's like job-related kind of stuff. But I don't understand what the Census Bureau people, why are they asking questions like this to people? And more than one, apparently. I'm not the only one, I guess. Maybe lots, and maybe hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe millions. I don't know. I have never heard of anybody else having anyone ask them these questions like these people are doing to me. And I'm like, who are these people? Who do they work for? And why do they want to know this information? Like how many hours a week I work and how I got paid for it. And what is your job and shit. And I told them my job. And as you can see, on my profile on this particular thing here, I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm a poet, I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, I paint, I draw, I sculpt, I make installations, and I'm a podcaster person. Like radio. What do you call that? Commentator? Yeah, I'm a commentator, and I make observations and comments about those observations, and I draw, calculated logical conclusions from what I observe, and I'm a student too. Actually, I'm a student of life, which is kind of cool, and I'm a wise guy. I mean, seriously, I'm wise. And I can't understand why I can't say that. I mean, that's not. Oh, you can't say that. It's not politically correct to say that. You're being boisterous. You're a narcissist because what? You're a narcissist because you are acknowledge that you are wise. Who's to say I'm not wise? You know what? If anybody could say that I'm wise, it would be me. Because I know me. I know me more better than anyone. Seriously. Nobody on this planet alive today knows me better than me. And I think that's an interesting concept if you say, oh, I'm going to go to a psychologist and let them tell me about me. So here's a guy. Okay, let's just go with this scenario. All right, I go to a psychologist, which I do occasionally, about every 10 years since I was 20, or around in there. 20, I was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, not 70, not yet. I kind of hedged on the 71 by going when I was 64, I think, somewhere there. But it might have been 6, 7 years since. Anyway, I said, okay, I want to talk to a psychologist, and they make me appointments, and I go and I see them for maybe 10 times. A week. Once a week for 10 weeks or 12 weeks, because for some reason they let you do that without having to pay for it. Which I think is interesting, but cool, because they usually give you the students or the interns or whatever you call them, where they're they're working in the psychologist's office, who has already got a PhD in psychology, and he's a professional and experienced and been in business a long time. Yeah, it's a business, and they make money. It's a job, and so they have to do practice on the job, so to speak. So they have to have clients, patients, whatever you call it. And I get into that program. I don't have money, but and I guess if you have insurance that covers that, you could use the insurance. I didn't want to use my insurance for that. So at one point I just go, and they say, no charges, pro bono, because you're poor, and besides we need to practice, so you can just be one of my practice people. And then they proceed to psychoanalyze and do whatever they do. And I'm amused. I'm just coming in to check up on you and see if you're learning how to be a real psychologist and not be stupid. And then they say stuff, and let me explain to you. Let me psychoanalyze you, Mr. or Mrs. or Miss Doctor Psychologist person. What you need to know if you're going to keep doing this for a living, because you shouldn't be crazy or stupid or psychologically imbalanced if you're gonna. And then one of them actually told me that that's why we got into the profession, because we were trying to analyze ourselves, and we said, hey, we might as well get paid for doing it. And so they went to college and got a degree and became psychologists. But I was just saying, if that's what you're going to do, okay. So anyway, I would have some fun, and I took it seriously because they need help. They need to help, because they need to be, certified, so they can be certifiably insane. No, so they can be, professionals and get a license. And I don't know why you need a license, but okay. I don't have a license because I don't need a license because I can practice psychology without a fucking license and permission slip from the government. Excuse me? Americans are stupid. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult everybody. But anyway, yeah, sometimes I do. Because psychology, this idea that you need a license to do something is just ridiculous. Alright? I think it's probably a good idea if somebody is in control, in charge of people that handle radioactive, like plutonium, or what is it? Radioactive shit. What is it? The stuff they find, it's uranium, right? Radioactive. Which, to me, is like, keep it in the ground where it belongs. I'm sorry, just leave it in there. Don't put it in the air. So what I'm saying is, finishing up with a side note. No, the Romans, they didn't do that, and they didn't go there. I mean, if Joseph took his fat pregnant wife, who was like 14 years old or so, drug her across the country to do that, that's just, somebody made that up. I'm sorry, that's fabricated nonsense. Just bullshit. Didn't happen. And maybe he was on parole and he had to report to his parole officer. I don't know. Whatever. Not to mention that it would be totally economically unsound thinking to do that. I mean, if the Romans were going to do that, that's just stupid. They're like, everybody's got to stop their harvest, or whatever it is they're doing, and like in Joseph's case, stop being a carpenter and just go miles and miles away and drag your pregnant girlfriend along. Why did he do that, by the way? Couldn't he have just left her at the house, with some neighbors, maybe a midwife or something, just watching over her? I gotta go to the capital on business, and I'll be back in a couple days. And you midwife person, take care of my wife. She's pregnant. She's gonna have my girlfriend, because we're just engaged, and she's young, and I'm older. Because you must have been a pedophile. How come nobody ever mentioned that? I just realized that. I know I'm talking about the census thing. Forget the census thing. But except in this case, nobody mentioned that. I've never heard anybody mention that. Now you hear a lot about Mohammed, that prick. Oops, that guy that's like, he's like our prophet, I think sometimes people even claim that he was virgin born just like Jesus. But anyway, how come nobody mentions the P word when it comes to Joseph and Mary? They mention it a lot when it comes to Muhammad, the Islamic, what do they call them, Muslims. They used to call them Muslims. I heard somebody, Mark Twain, I think. Anyway, Muhammad is a pedophile, and, raping little freaking 9-year-olds and shit. And kids and teenagers and shit. Like, what? But you never hear that. You never hear Joseph called a pedophile. Yeah, well, actually, I know what the word pedophile means, and it has nothing to do with, teenagers. Seriously. The word pedophile means children. Pedo, children, love of children, lover of children, love of children, love of children, not teenagers. Because children are like under 12, prepubescent, pre-teenage people. They're not 14, 15. Those are adolescents. I've said this before. What's wrong with you people? How many times I got to tell you? I'm wise. Trust me. And then look it up your own damn self. Like in a dictionary. I don't mean the ones that are controlled by the Neocon Socialist Alliance mind-bending motherfuckers. Because they totally got the dictionary all fucked up. Because apparently they think it's a living language. No, it's not. It's a language, and it's not even an inanimate object. It's just words, sounds that come out of our mouths and letters on a page. Words in a row, in reference to my poetry book that I published a couple of years ago, which you should go to Amazon and buy. D.L. McClung, Words in a Row. Go, look, buy it. It's only $7.50. I mean, shit, you can afford it. It's a good book. You should have it. Collector's item even, if you want to look at it that way. My early poems. All right, I got to plug in for myself. All right. Seriously, go to Amazon, look up D.L. McClung, Words in a Row, a poetry book. It's the first one. Old poems from when I was a kid and stuff. Not a child. Adolescent and young adult. All right. So, what I'm saying is, if really, hold on. Oh, just got this. Just in. It's on YouTube, and I'm not vouching for its accuracy or its validity. I'm just gonna tell you what it says, and I kind of think it's pretty close, because it kind of does ring true to the maybe not. I don't know. You be the judge. I mean, don't take my word for everything. Could take my word for some things, but not everything. In fact, maybe you shouldn't take my word for anything, and should probably do some own research and dig into the situation and find the facts for yourself. Don't be a lazy brain person. Just take some incentive and try to learn something. Without, how many people are listening to me anyway? I mean, like what, 5? It's not my goal here to change the world. It's my goal here to express some thoughts, conclusions, observations, and maybe express some words describing my vision, my creative, artistic vision, not my hallucination, not my delusion. I'm just going to state what I see. You can deal with it accordingly. Election results, 2016. Popular vote. Trump, 62,972,226. Clinton, 62,277,750. All right. That's what it says. And the Electoral College, Trump, 206. No, 306. 306 is what I'm saying. 306. Clinton, 232. All right. Okay. Now, knowing what we know about Clinton, liar. We know this. She committed crimes against humanity. We know this. Facts. She committed treason. Yeah. Facts. Evidence. And you really shouldn't convict someone of treason or a crime like that, like she's guilty of, without, evidence presented to, the jury, in this case, world opinion. I think we could also say there's people out there that are lumped into a category called, world conclusion. Or verdict by the masses. I think it's pretty clear that Hillary Clinton committed crimes against humanity because we saw her do it. We heard about it. We saw her say things, and it was very common. It's very obvious, very public. Yeah, I'm responsible for murdering those women and children over in frickin' Pakistan, Afghanistan, whatever, and Libya and stuff. I mean, yeah, I was a part of that organization, that terrorist organization that sent drones over there and murdered innocent people. So you did it. She did it. We know it. Everybody knows it. It's just new. Not new, and it's not really speculation because she admitted it. I'm responsible for murdering that guy in Pakistan in his house in the middle of the night or whatever. Just had some guys go over there and murder him and shoot him in the face, and and then we're going to say, it's Osama bin Laden. and then take the body and dump it in the sea, which is a crime right there because that's called obstruction of justice. If you want to consider that a valid charge, you could say destruction of evidence, tampering with a crime scene thingy, and a lot of crime there. And so if Hillary was like charged with that, or had was part of the terrorist organization that actually committed that crime against another man, and who was never convicted of a crime, even the guy in Pakistan, as far as we know, or the real Osama bin Laden was never convicted of a crime, never even charged with a crime, never even taken, arrested, or brought to trial, or anything. There's no evidence that Osama bin Laden had anything to do with 9/11 or any other crime against humanity. Not that I'm aware of. Certainly not 9/11. Certainly not. You understand what I'm saying? Hillary Clinton was one of those people that belonged to that criminal organization in Washington that sent a hit squad to Pakistan, which is a crime. You don't invade foreign countries with the intent to commit murder. And they intended to do it because we couldn't have a live Osama bin Laden to, testify and tell all the American people the truth about the scheme going on to dominate the world. Anyway, I'm not buying it. So anyway, point is, Hillary, criminal, known, felon, known, proven. The evidence is clear. There's nothing question. And 62 million plus people actually voted for her. What fucking idiots. Now, just by equal comparison to Trump, to my knowledge, she's never murdered anyone, hired any hitmen to murder anyone, has never committed treason that I know of, there's no evidence that he ever, committed any terrorist acts against another human being anywhere on the planet, as far as I know, never. So, and if let's be real here, if Donald Trump was ever even associated with anybody being murdered, or I'm pretty sure the media would have been blasting that, like full blast, speakers up on top, full, saying, yeah, he's linked to the freaking murder of somebody. Guess what? No, none, zip, zero. So by comparison to people, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, you got to keep things in order. You can't just jump around like apples over here and a bunch of oranges on top of them, and they're all fruit. Well, that's true, but if you're talking about something like, if you're comparing two people, like Clinton is a known felon, that's a fact. That's not even questionable. That's a fact. If you don't believe it, I'm sorry, you're just not thinking well. You're brain damaged or something. Trump, not convicted of any crime, not even by public opinion, except that, people think, oh, he wanted to grab her pussy, which means he did, but she didn't. But saying it is a crime, so obviously, people that voted against Trump, so to speak, and for Clinton, so to speak, are fucking idiots. Now, I'm not saying that Trump is a saint and that we're not even going to... I'm just comparing those two facts, apples to apples. Clinton, guilty. Trump, not so guilty. So, all right, so I'm going to end this segment, and I'm way behind in posting segments here. I think I got 8 now to post. I'll try to get those all in today and get them on the internet and get them on my radio podcast and get them on YouTube for you guys. And you can listen. And lots of you should be listening to this because I'm worthy of being listened to. So I'll catch you later in a bit, after a while. I promise. You'll be okay later. Have a good day.